Good evening everyone, welcome to round 5 of the Track Stars Touring Car Series. We're here tonight at a very wet Red Bull ring. It's expected that the rain's not going to let up all night, so these drivers are in for a very wet and slippery encounter tonight as they take on two races here, both 125 kilometres in length. We're just in the qualifying at the moment, with the first of our drivers on their flying laps. Disappointed leading the field in the number 95 Honda. We've got defending champion Diswood one just a bit further back on his lap. And then we've got a big group of cars, the likes of N-Spud, our 2020 champion, Lurix 22, Caban's, Slapper's Mate, Nightwalker 964, and Soul Reaper, all in the group. Broccolilli a bit behind him. RSR Robo Sport filling in for Loudy Darkness tonight. So the boss has been forced to jump into one of his own cars. We'll quickly jump back to the front as Disappointed comes across the line, sets a marker of a 1:32.7. Looks like Diswood heading into the pits, failing on his lap time there. And Spud come around to complete his lap, 1:34.7, just 2 seconds off the pace. Lurix dropped down to 5th now, Slapper's Mate in 4th, Nightwalker 964 crossing the line into 3rd, which has quickly become 4th, and his teammate Soul Reaper up into 3rd. And it's Broccolilli who's set the new fast time here, 1:32.3. Only to be eclipsed by Robo Sport, who's gone to the top. And then that's immediately topped by Ruddy McForehead. So the times are coming in very quickly here. Looks like the rain's died off a bit. The track's drying out a lot. So it's Ruddy McForehead at the top at the moment. Duran 50 in 2nd, Robo Sport 3rd, Broccoli 4th, Disappointed in 5th, who will be next to come across the line here. And he goes to the top, so track's obviously drying out here. It's probably going to be the last person to cross the line, will be the best chance of taking pole. Wait for N-Spud to come around. He gets a bit sideways coming out of the final corner. He only goes 4th fastest. Lurix jumps up to 5th. Caban's jumps up to 4th. Let's see what Broccolilli can do this time around. About 90 seconds ago he was at the top, and now he's down to 11th. He does stay in 11th place. Robo Sport jumping in the 2nd position. Great lap there from him. But Ruddy McForehead, he counters that with a great lap time there. Quickly toppled by Duran 50. So we're going to see a lot of quick times coming in as the session continues on. That being said, I think the rain's come back down again, so this might be the last chance for a few of our competitors to get a fast time in. By the looks of things, Disappointed's gone a fair bit slower than what we saw last time around. Gets all out of shape. I don't think he's going to improve on his time, so we probably had a good little moment of some fast times there. And it's been quickly killed off by the return of the rain. Looks like a number of the cars are parking up on the runoff area of turn 3. So Duran 50 going back to back with the pole positions after securing the fastest qualifying time last week at Spa. He backs up that performance again with another fast time here at the Red Bull Ring. And then it'll be Ratty McForehead starting out of position 2 on the front row. Disappointed in third. Robo Sport, an impressive qualifying there from him. Puts him up into 4th position. And then another one of the team managers, Viper's Ed. Essentially the team boss at Satellite Racing. He's jumped in tonight in place of Speedy Tyres. He's in 5th place. And then the new team putting in a great performance there. The WRT Motorsport Hondas of Salt Reaper in 6th and Nightwalker in 7th. Then we have Gabans in 8th. And Spud in 9th. Lurox in 10th, rounding out the top 10 obviously. And then rounding out the field we have Slapper's Mate, Broccolilly, John 27, and then Diswood 1. Our last car in the field. A very lowly qualifying for him. I think he took a gamble on tyres there and it didn't pay off for him. So while we do have a bit of downtime, probably should quickly discuss probably the big news item for this week. And that of course is the addition of 2 Hondas in this championship this week. The Honda ranks have grown from 4 to 6 and the Nissans have dropped from 6 to 4. Unfortunately, the Shade On Racing team has withdrawn from the series. And in their place is the WRT Motorsport team. They've scrambled to get 2 drivers and a pair of cars in the week between Spa and tonight's race at Red Bull Ring, but they've managed to get 2 cars on the grid and put in an impressive performance to take 6th and 7th in qualifying, so certainly not disgracing themselves early on tonight. As it looks like Spud, who's running things in the lobby tonight, he's giving the signal that we'll be starting shortly. So 29 laps of the Red Bull Ring. 14 cars racing here tonight. And we are green flag racing here at the Red Bull Ring. Let's see what incidents we have. It looks like they're keeping it reasonably clean. Diswood going around the outside into turn 1. Dram runs a bit wide. He's gone a long way around. So we'll quickly jump out and reset this. And it's Disappoint leading the field into turn 3. Viper's Head sitting in second place. Then we've got Enspud, Diswood, Ratty McForehead all in the group. As they all slip and slide out of turn 3, fighting for traction. Enspud breaks loose there. Miraculously saves that. So I'm not sure what's happening here. Disappointed's travelling really slowly here. And it's Viper's Head out in front at the moment. He's taking the lead here. And he's pulling out a big margin. Dropped down to 11 cars, so that's a bit strange. Not sure what's happened to the rest of the field here. Yes, red flag has been called. So not sure what exactly is going on. We'll work to find out. So we had one car with a bit of a malfunction. So that's caused the aborted race start. Looks like we'll be working to get everyone back up and running and into the racing very soon. So what they'll do now is they'll get a formation lap underway. I believe they'll be going single file behind the safety car. And then the safety car will then pull off the track and we'll go racing. Just waiting for the cars to organise themselves into their race order. Safety car is going to assume their place at the front. The first few cars, probably the first 7 or 8 cars, I think everyone is pretty well in their order now. So the field's very much sorted, ready to go. So complete what will essentially be a formation lap. Safety car pulls into the pits. Duran 50 will lead him to the race start here. He'll head across the line. We're back underway here for the second attempt at this first race. Disappointed going to have a look at Ruddy McForehead there, and likewise he was doing the same to Dram 50 into turn 1. So we head through turn 2 and up towards turn 3. Disappointed all over the back of the number 45, makes a move down the inside, he'll take second place into turn 3. But Ruddy McForehead getting the switch back out of turn 3, superior grip there. He jumped straight back up into second place. Soul Reaper quickly up in the 4th on this start. He's got a group of cars. Viper Z, Nightwalker, Robbo Sport, Spud, Diswood, all in a group. Five cars all trying to sort themselves out here on the opening lap. Nightwalker currently holding down 5th place, and Spud all over the back of him, trying to find a way into the top 5. Looks to make a move down the inside. I think he just got his long side. Not quite enough to get the job done though, as Diswood heads to pit lane. What's happened there? I'm trying to get hold of him on the cycle. Doesn't look like he's... Maybe he's making an early change onto intermediates here. John 27 with damage, he's heading to pit lane. Same for Broccolilli, he's got engine damage. Back up the front, it's Dram 50. Leading the field, just a 6/10 of a second margin to Ruddy McForehead. I'm disappointed it's sitting in 3rd place. So first 3 cars all close together, and a bit more of a gap to Spud, who's made the move into 4th place. I think Soul Reaper must have had a moment here. Yeah, Soul Reaper's down in 9th. So that's what's seen Spud up into 4th place. And as a result, Nightwalker still holding on to that 5th spot. He's got last year's Formula 2 champion Viper Z right behind him. As Viper Z looks to make a move into turn 1, he'll get that done easily. So Viper Z up into the top 5. Nightwalker dropping to 6 and running side by side now with Lurox 22. Looks like Lurox has got the advantage here in the turn 3. Bit of a sideways moment though. May not see this come to an end. Although it looks like he now does have the gap over Nightwalker to hold on to 6th place. Just see Robbo Sport moving up into 9th. Looks like someone's had a bit of a moment here. Let's see who that is. It's John. John's off the track. He's sitting down in 14th. Broccolilli's off the track in 13th as well. He's just had a big moment into turn 1. Diswood's moved on to intermediates, putting in those purple sectors already. Don't know how well timed that move is. As Broccoli rejoins the track right in front of the leaders, unfortunately. As we just see Disappointed making a move into 2nd place. He runs a bit wide into turn 3. Now him and Ruddy McForehead going side by side. like Disappointed just doing enough to fend off the MSR number 45. And he's now right on the tail of Duran 50. So he'll be looking to take the lead of this race. I think he's moved alongside, trying to go the long way around. And he's going to make that stick, so Disappointed now taking the lead of this race. Duran 50 running second. And he now comes under pressure from Ratty McForehead, who moves into second place. Not sure what's going on there. Duran was looking pretty comfortable, and now he's just dropped down to third place. So it's Disappointed now leading onto what is effectively lap 5. Runs a bit wide there out of the exit of turn 1. And that's now going to give Ratty McForehead the opportunity to try and make a move into turn 3. Disappointed running wide again into turn 3. And all the while, and Sputters close up to the back of the leading trio. And he's going to quickly make this a quartet of cars fighting it out for the lead. Although, as I say, that he runs very wide into turn number 4. Oh, and Spud's off the track. He's had a couple of bad corners just as he was closing in on the leaders. And that's really going to drop him off the pace. Probably one car I want to quickly have a look at, see how they're progressing. Of course, is Diswood 1. I think he's had a second pit stop. He did take the gamble on the intermediates. And now he's back on the wet, so not having a good night there, Diswood. Maybe just misjudging what the weather is doing. And he's currently got Gabans just behind him by about 3 seconds. We have John 27 running in 13th. He's a fair way off the pace. Same for Broccoli, who looks to have parked into the pit lane. So back up front, Disappointed still leading this race. And it's Ruddy McForehead sitting in second. Duran 50 in third, so Ruddy's got a half-second penalty over his head. So that might drop him back into the clutches of Duran 50. Certainly given Disappointed the break is needed. Although as soon as I've said that, the gap has just dropped by a few tenths of a second here. And Ruddy McForehead running a bit wide there. So now he's under pressure from Duran 50, who's now taken second. And all the while, this is allowing Disappointed to jump out to a 2-second lead here. Although that 2-second margin seemed to be very short-lived. So Sparta's closed back up, in contention for a podium spot here early on in this race. So we've got a 3-car battle for second place at the moment. Our pole sitter Dram 50 holding down second place at the moment. Lurok's holding on to 5th spot a bit further back. With one of the satellite racing fill-in drivers, Slapper's mate 117. He's driving number 79 car tonight in place of Ridwan F1. And then satellite racing team manager Viper's Head sitting in 7th place, taking over what's usually the 41 with speedy tyres. But is now for tonight number 56. And he's on intermediate tyres at the moment, put in the purple sector, so he'll be looking to charge up the order. Got a pairing of Nightwalker and Soul Reaper in 8th and 9th. Diswood now up in the 10th place. He's just set fastest lap of the race. So Disappointed still leading the way. Dram 50 just putting a gap out to the Maspud Racing pair in 3rd and 4th. We have a little bit of action in the pit lane with one of the satellite racing cars heading in to make their pit stop. So interestingly, going for the soft tyres, taking it very easy coming out of pit lane. So a race leader also into the pits. Is he going for a set of soft tyres? Meanwhile, Dram 50 taking over the race lead. So Disappointed onto the softs as well. He feels like it's time to make a switch. Viper's Head currently in 5th. I believe that he might have had a pit stop earlier on. But doesn't quite look like it from the lap time data. But he's certainly loving life on those intermediates at the moment as he goes down the inside of Lurox and takes over 4th place. Lurox now starting to struggle on those wet weather tyres. Certainly helped him in the earlier stages, but now as the track's dried out, it's certainly come to the advantage of Viper's Head. Dram 50 now into pit lane for his pit stop. Probably crucially, Disappointed has come out in front of Diswood, who has already made a pit stop and is circulating on wet tyres at the moment. But it does look like a very strong move here from Disappointed to jump onto the soft tyres. So he just ran wide a bit there. Have to be very careful getting on the gas coming out of there. Although that being said, Duram has jumped him in this lap. So maybe that was a lap too early for that pit stop. And Duram is now on the intermediate tyres. So Duran might have made the best move here, but I feel like the track's starting to dry up and it might come into the hands of Disappointed. Probably something I've missed is Zenspud has now moved into the race lead. We've got Spud leading the way from Brady McForhead. Viper's Head really on a charge now. He's closed into the back of these two cars. He'll really look at making a move for second place and maybe eventually even the lead as he takes advantage of these intermediate tyres on the car, which I must say are really suiting these conditions at the moment. That said, I do feel that possibly the slick tyres are the way to go at the moment. As we look at Disappointed, and he is cutting a huge chunk of time out of Duram 50. And he's set a purple second sector, but he's a second down on the second up on the fastest lap. And that gap's dropped by a second in just the last few corners, as he really looks to make a charge. So Disappointed setting the fastest lap of the race. Got a yellow flag up ahead. Not sure who that was for. I think it might have been one of the cars a bit further back, maybe John 27. Just at the wrong moment we jumped to Gabans and he's off the track. Of course, one of the big risks you take jumping on the soft tyre or the slicker tyres is that if you get outside the racing line that's dried up, you're going to quickly get onto the wet stuff and find yourself off the track and very much struggling for grip. As we see Slapper's mate and Diswood going side by side as Diswood exits the pit. So Disappointed now ahead of Duram 50. Making a charge towards, well, obviously he'll probably overtake Spud and Lurox in pit lane. And then his next target will be Viper's Head. So the gap between Viper's Head and Disappointed now down to 15 seconds. Disappointed has dropped few seconds on that last lap, but obviously made up the position on Duran 50. But now with a bit of clear track, I think he'll be looking to really take huge chunks out of Viper Z's lap time. As we just caught Duran 50, he's off the track. And that'll see Ruddy McForehead move into third place now. And Spud also moving ahead of Duran 50 to take fourth. So Duran dropping down to fifth place here. So we've got Duran and Lurox on the intermediates. Duran into pit lane. Viper Z now down, gap's now down to 10 seconds between himself and Disappointed. He's just put in another fastest lap, so he's really extending his gap out ahead of the cars around him on the soft tyres. And at the same time, he's really reeling in Viper Z for the lead of this race. You could say, depending on what the weather does, this is setting himself up nicely for a race win here. Of course, we're not sure what the weather could do. Could rain at any given moment and really undo all of his work. The margin from Disappointed to Viper Z now down to 6 seconds. I think the likes of N-Spud and Ruddy McForehead might have had a couple of issues here as they struggle to get grips with the track. Gap between Spud and Disappointed now out to 26 seconds. Nightwalker now sitting in 5th place after Lurox made his pit stop. Lurox is... Sorry, I don't think Lurox actually made a pit stop, it was Duran. So Lurox is sticking it out on the intermediates here. It's Duran 50 who made the stop. He's now back on the slick tyres looking to make his way up the field. There's a gap between Disappointed and Viper Z was nearly at 2 seconds. Although Viper Z Disappointed it was that ran wide into turn 1. He's just given up a chunk of time. So he's going to have to go to work all over again trying to make his way back into the lead of this race. Disappointed now closed right up on the tail of Viper's Head. As you can see on that onboard earlier, flashing the lights at Viper's Head, just letting him know he's right behind him, coming for the lead of that race. Disappointed keeps it nice and tight on the exit of turn 3. The tricky part here though is going to be that Disappointed can't really get off the racing line to try and make a move, because if he does so he'll get into the wet part of the track and lose all the valuable grip. So all Viper's Head really needs to do is just keep it on the race line, and it's going to make life difficult for Disappointed. This time by, Disappointed looks to make a move into turn 1. Gets a bit tight there, but Viper's Head still holds on to the spot, but gets a bit out of shape coming out of the corner. And that's all that Disappointed needed to sweep through into the lead. And now he'll have the advantage of being able to place his car wherever he likes. And take full advantage of having those slick tyres, and he now starts to pull out a margin over Viper's Head. So Disappointed after leading earlier, now back in the lead of this race. So just runs a bit wide. That's probably the last thing he wanted to do there. And that allows Viper's Head to close right back in again, although Viper's Head gets all out of shape there. And now he loses plenty of ground to Disappointed. And the gap's now out to 4 seconds because of that incident. And I think now at this point Viper's Head's realised that the soft tyres are the tyre that you have to be on, and he's now in the pit lane. Looks like N-Spud's going to come out in front of Viper's Head. Same for Reddy McForehead as well, by the looks of things. Possibly even Diswood. Where's Viper's Head going to come out? I think he'll come out in 5th place. And of course that pit exit, very treacherous. I looked like he crossed the line there, so that'll be up to the in-game penalty system of Gran Turismo 7, whether they believe that he did cross the line. It looks like he doesn't have a penalty hanging over the top of his car, so looks like he got away with that one. We're now on to lap 21 of 29, even though the counter says 30, we've had that extra lap to sort themselves out. Disappointed 20 seconds out in front at the moment. Looks to be very much in control of this race. So maybe by a lap or two he might have misjudged switching onto the soft tyres, but regardless, there wasn't really anyone else that clicked on to switching to the softs like he did, so that one lap really hasn't made a difference. And those that did pit probably what was at the right time for the slick soft tyres. Ended up choosing the intermediates anyway. We'll have a bit of a look a bit further back. Obviously, N-Spud P666 running in second place. Ruddy McForehead running in third. Making Mash Spuds racing 2-3, but I think he's going to quickly come under pressure from Diswood 1, who's on a charge from the back of the grid here in this race. And he's looking to take a podium position, maybe even second place. Then we have Slapper's Mate sitting in 5th place. A nice fill-in performance for him. That being said, Dram 50 looks to be closing in on him. As he makes a bit of a comeback drive after being forced to make a second stop. Walker sitting in 7th. Lorix in Viper's Head, so they're in a tight little battle there for 8th and 9th place. Trying to work out who that battle is up ahead. So it's Duram and Slapper's Mate that have closed up. Apologies to anyone that got affected by quickly switching around all the cars. So we've got a couple of little battles going on here. Dram 50 looking to take a spot in the top 5 here. Then we got Lurox Cabans, I think, is Viper's Head. Viper's Head has run off the track. He's taken damage here as well. Not sure whether there was contact with someone or he spun, but Viper's Head in a bit of trouble here. And he's gone from leading a few laps ago to now being lapped by Disappointed. As Viper's Head struggles to get to the pit lane. Looks like Soul Reaper's going to take that spot in the top 10. Looks like John's in the pit lane. Looks like he's ready to call it a race. Disappointed still carrying on out in front. As we see a battle between Ruddy McForehead just a second further back in 4th place. Dram 50 has moved up into 5th place now. There is a car facing the wrong way. It's triggered the yellow flags. I'm not sure who it is. I think that was the RSR Robo Sport. So we just caught a little bit of a moment there from Lurox, who now goes a lap down on Disappointed. I think that was a moment there from Spud. I think he's ran wide at turn 3, and that's opened a door for Diswood to come right up to the back of him. And possibly even look for second place here in this race from the back of the grid. So Diswood now looking for a way past Spud. So we have a battle between Spud and Diswood, our 2 previous series champions, to decide the final places on the podium as we're 4 laps to go in this first race. Diswood with a run through turn 2, looking to the outside into turn 3 as they run side by side. Diswood just runs a little bit wide there, and then Spud takes that opportunity to extend his gap again. Didn't look like there was much contact between the two, so I don't think that'll be looked at later on, but definitely not the result Diswood would have wanted. Seems to be extremely spread out now. Probably the closest battle we have on track is between Viper's Head and Soul Reaper for a spot in the top 10. And even that isn't really going to be close soon because Soul Reaper's going to have to serve a penalty here. So Disappointed continuing his fine run here in the lead. He's effectively on lap 27 of 29. We'll come around the final 2 corners here and begin his penultimate lap of the race. Just right on board with him for a lap as he runs wide into turn 1. So while we're riding on board with Diswood, Disappointed, we just missed Diswood moving into second place. Got the expensive end Spud P 666. He's really fallen off the pace. Must have had a bit of a moment there last lap. He's disappointed now on his final lap here at the Red Bull Ring. Race 1 for round 5 of the Trackstars Touring Car Series. As he rounds what is effectively the infield section for the last time, heading towards the final 2 turns. He's taken the lead early on in this race. Perfectly timed his strategy play with the weather, and disappointed crosses the line to take the win in race number 1. So disappointed taking his first victory of the season, and that'll vault him into the championship lead with the absence of speedy tyres. Diswood crosses the line in 2nd place, so a good points haul for him from the back of the field. And Spud P 666 taking 3rd position. Then we'll have Raddy McForehead crossing line in 4th. Dram 50, unfortunately having to take 2 stops, comes across the line in 5th. And then it's Slapper's mate coming around the final corner. He'll take 6th position. Then we have Nightwalker 964 taking 7th place for WRT Motorsport on their debut. As here comes Viper's Head to round out the top 10. Gabans finishes 8th, Lurox in 9th. Soul Reaper, he crosses the line in 11th. And then Robbo Sport in 12th. And just as we finish a race, the rains come back again, so that can make things a bit interesting for race number 2. As they finish under dry conditions. Looks like we might have a completely wet encounter for race number 2. If it stays persistent with the rain. So we'll take a short 5-minute break here in the coverage of round 5 of the Trackstars Touring Car Series. We'll be back very soon with qualifying and race number 2. we're back in action for qualifying session number 2 tonight. This will help set the grid for our second race of the night. Again, it's disappointed our race 1 leader. And he's leading the field out onto the track. As they all get underway on their warm-up lap. First car to complete a lap. Let's see what lap time he comes up with. First lap time 1:38.4. Diswood coming around to complete his first lap time. Looks like he's going to be a little bit slower. No, he goes 36.8, so he's to the top. York sitting in third. Up in the third now, Caban's in fourth. Enspud crossing the line now into 8th. Viper's Head jumps up to third. Ruddy McForehead jumps into second position with his lap. Off track excursion there from Bravo Sport. We head on board with Nightwalker 964. He's on their out lap. John 27 deciding to stay in the pits for this one. Like disappointed is improving on their lap. Let's see whether Diswood can improve. Yes, he goes faster again, 1:35.6, so nearly a second quicker than his previous lap. Z looks to be held up a little bit by Caban's. That's going to cost him. And Spud's up in the second place. Improved lap time. What can Ratty McForehead do, because he comes across the line? He's not going to go faster as well. So Viper Zed's parked in turn 1. Around 50. There's a solid lap time there. Caban's obviously on a lap himself. Disappointed 8/10 up on his time. So far that put him on course for a front row start here. Let's see what he can do in the final sector. Keeping it nice and clean through these final 2 corners. Just out on the curve a little bit, that might cost him a just small amount of time. He comes across the line, that'll be P2 for disappointed. Looks like N-Spud's on a fast lap himself. Let's see what he can produce as he comes across the line. Can he take a front row spot? Not quite, he does improve but stays in position 3. So that looks to be qualifying complete. Diswood will be taking pole position for the second race. He'll be joined on the front row by Disappointed. And then it'll be N-Spud P666 and Ruddy McForehead. Then Viper Z and Dram 50 on the third row. Nightwalker and Slappers Mate on row number 4. Then it'll be Lurox and Soul Reaper, row number 5. And I believe things have been jumbled up a bit here. I know John will definitely be in position 13. So it's actually Gaban's up in the 8th place. So it's Slapper Mates and Gaban's on row 4. Actually that'll change because no, it'll be Nightwalker and Slapper's Mate on row 4 with N-Spud jumping up into position 3. Then Gaban's and Lurox on row 5. Soul Reaper and Robbo Sport in row 6, and then it'll just be John 27 starting in 13th. Unfortunately, Broccolilli won't be rejoining. The issues that plagued him in race number 1 now coming back in race number 2 and preventing him from being a part of this race. As it looks like everyone's now up in the turn number 3, so should be looking for a race start very shortly. So second round of races, another 29 laps of racing. Diswood and Disappointed on the front row. We've got the 5 lights. And we are racing here for race number 2 at the Red Bull Ring. Looks like Disappointed off to a solid start. So it's Disappointed taking the lead into turn 1. We'll quickly jump back. So Diswood, Disappointed side by side through turn 1. Diswood now back into the lead. Dram 50 sitting in 3rd. Mike Walker up into fourth momentarily, but it's now Ruddy McForehead breaking up the parade of Hondas. And the safety car's now out. Must have been a few incidents at turn 1. Got John 27. And Spudder's involved, so is Viper's Edge. So it's Diswood leading the way as we're now under safety car. Disappointed our race 1 winner sitting in second place. Duran 50 sitting in third, Gaban's in fourth, Lurik's in fifth, Mike Walker is down to 8 through pit stop. And we've got Robbo Sport in 6th. Slapper's mate in 7th. And then the rest of the field all taking a pit stop. As John heads into pit lane here. As the safety car leads the field around. And lap number 2 of this race. Safety car will be in this lap. Diswood leading the field to the restart. So back underway here, race number 2, round 5 of the Trackstars Touring Car Series. Diswood leading the field away, disappointed, looking to make a move into turn 1 to try and take the lead. Bit of a moment there from Diswood coming out of turn 1. And that gives Disappointed the only opportunity he needs. His car into the fence. That's Gaban's in the number 55 Lexus. As the field files through turn number 3. A much wetter encounter this time around. As all the cars searching for all the grip they can find. And all the while trying to sort out their positions in the race. Diswood leading the way here from Disappointed. Ram 50 in the second CP Motorsports Honda. Rounding out our top 3 at the moment. Then a bit further back we've got Lurox 22. With Raddy McForehead right behind. And then the likes of N-Spud P666, Viper Z, Nightwalker, Slappers Mate. All in a group, then Soul Reaper just in on the edge of the top 10. Robbo Sports taking a bit of damage. He was running 5th, so that'll explain why a few of those cars have jumped up the order. And then we have Gabans, who took that heavy incident on the restart. And John 27 rounding out the field. Diswood stretching out his margin to Disappointed. It's out to 2.4 seconds now. And growing as we speak. First 3 cars are really spreading themselves out. Viper's Head now up into position number 4. A little bit of damage to his car. But still not a huge amount to affect him hugely. But he is coming under pressure from N-Spud here, who's looking to take over 4th place. Looks like Lurox might have had a moment. But it looks like he has escaped without any damage, so he'll be able to continue on without being too largely affected. And Spud looking to make a move on Viper's Head. Doesn't quite have enough to get the move completed. Was looking like he was far enough down the inside to get the job done, but Viper's Head just hanging in there toughly. Certainly not making it easy for N-Spud to get ahead of him. Looks like N-Spud might have the advantage here. Coming out of turn one, got the better drive. He gets himself in front. Looks like, oh, he's just run a bit wide there, so that's going to open the door for Viper's Head. It all depends on who has the better traction. As Viper's Head now has a bit of a run there on N-Spud. Heading down into turn 4, so Viper's Head's going to have the inside here. As they continue to go side by side. I think there was a little moment from Viper's Head. Oh, he's all out sideways. And that's let Ratty McForehead get in front, I believe. No, Viper's Head's going to hold on around the outside. So Viper's Head will maintain position 5 there. N-Spud's now cleared out to a 1.5 second gap, while Viper's Head and Ratty McForehead all battle it out for 5th place. Doesn't look like there's much else going on in terms of battles. Everyone appears to be very well spread out. And it looks like Viper's Head's now just been able to settle in a little bit after that battle with N-Spud and just establish a bit of a margin over Ratty McForehead. Although Viper's Head getting all out of shape on the run into turn 3. And that's really opened the door for Ratty McForehead to maybe launch an attack here down into turn 4. Viper's Head just moving that car to the right a little bit. And Ratty McForehead trying to go the long way around. That's going to give him the advantage. Although Viper's Head getting all out of shape, and now he gives up that position. So 2 Mash Spud racing cars now inside the top 5. Ram 50 just slightly keeping in touch with Disappointed in that battle for 2nd place. Although it looks like Disappointed just has that, I'd say, slightly comfortable margin over Ram 50, but definitely not enough that he can afford to make any mistakes. On the other hand though, Diswood out to an 8-second gap. He looks to be building that kind of margin that gives him a bit of safety net should he make a mistake. margin for Diswood now out to 10 seconds at what's effectively the end of lap 10, so he's pulling in a second lap margin out over his nearest competitor, Disappointed, and the rest of the field. Disappointed just stretching that margin out a little bit to about 3.2, 3.3 seconds. As he starts to build a little bit of a buffer over Diswood's teammate, Duram 50. And then Duram comfortably 10 seconds in front of Enspud. So the entire field pretty well evenly spaced out. Looks like Soul Reaper probably the closest to anyone else on the track. With Slapper's mate about 2 seconds in front at the moment, although that margin sort of increasing, decreasing at each given moment. bit of a moment there from Lurox. As we just switched over to him, it looked like the battle was heating up there between himself and Slapper's mate. Now he's spun off mid-straight, taken some heavy damage. Now he's dropped down into 8th position. Looks like Lurox is going to be under threat from Viper's Head here as well. But I imagine he'll probably fall well down the order here. So Viper's Head now moving past in 8th place. Sure, it's likely that Lurox might even drop down to 10th, possibly even 11th place. Now the battle between Nightwalker and Gaban's probably becomes the closest two cars out on this track. As Duram 50 gets between them to put them a lap down. So Gaban's now moving ahead of Nightwalker for 10th. Lurox is in pit lane. Not sure if the glitching mentioned in the comments is from the GT7 game or whether we do have issues here. Might just quickly investigate that and make sure everything's working fine. So Diswood continuing to lead his margin out to 18 seconds now. This is on lap 17 of 29. Disappointed running in second place. About 10 seconds is the gap between himself and Duram 50. Duram heading into the pit, so and that will probably allow N-Spud to take over third place. So we have Diswood coming in to make his pit stop. Disappointed heading around. Taking over the lead of the race for this moment, but I imagine that won't last too long. Especially as he's come out not far behind Disappointed. I do believe that Disappointed does still need to make a pit stop anyway, so that will promote Diswood back into the lead of the race. So it looks like a bit of an indicator there from Disappointed, just letting Diswood sweep on past. I do believe that Disappointed still needs a pit, so I think his main focus will be that margin out to N-Spud. Whether he can build a big enough gap to get into the pit lane, swap those tyres and get back out without any issues. I think you'll probably need something well over 20 seconds as a margin. I know Diswood was about 18 seconds ahead of Disappointed before his pit stop, and he came out about 4 or 5 seconds behind. Just scrolling through the field a bit, of course we've got Reddy McForehead running 4th, Duram 50 in 5th, Slapper's Mate in 6th place, Viper's Head running in 7th, so 2 satellite racing cars running 6th and 7th, not a bad points haul for them. Soul Reaper running in 8th, so he'll add another top 10 possibly to the top 10 result he had last week in Spa. And we have Gabans running in 9th, Nightwalker sitting in 10th. So a double top 10 finish on the cards for WRT Motorsports. We have Lurup sitting in 11th. I believe he's a couple of laps down on Diswood. And Robbo Sport another lap down. So Disappointed continuing to build that margin there, so it's nearly out to 20 seconds now. I could be mistaken, but I don't believe Disappointed has pitted yet. Of course, Diswood already pitting. I believe N-Spud and Reddy McForehead all did the same under the safety car. And then Duram 50 also pitting a bit earlier on in the race. But Diswood building that comfortable margin out to 5 seconds in front as he heads towards the closing stages of our second race here tonight at Red Bull Ring in round 5 of Trackstars Touring Car Series. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Duram that we just caught on camera. He gets all out of shape and hits the wall on the entry to turn 3 as he was charging towards Reddy McForehead for a 4th place finish. Just looking to cycle through a bit further in the field. Soul Reaper heading to pit lane from 8th place. Looks like a bit of a battle closing in between the Bands and Nightwalker, possibly. Although the gap's about 6-7 seconds at this stage. having a bit of a moment here. He's got a very heavily damaged car, so he'll be heading towards pit lane as well. So Diswood continuing on his way towards victory. Not sure if he's taking a bit of time to showboat or just pushing the limits of adhesion. We've got a car off track, that's John 27, so he hasn't really been a factor in this race tonight. Crucially though, he has been keeping that car rolling around the track tonight and keeping those points ticking over for the It's Racing esports team. While Disappointed continues to collect the big haul of points. Gap's now 22 seconds between himself and Enspud, so I think if he did want to pit, he would be close to coming out in front of him. Now 5 laps to go on this race. Certainly hasn't been the most action-packed encounter, but it certainly makes the other races look a lot more exciting, that's for sure. You can't have the likes of Daytona and Spa every single week. Disappointed now has that gap out well past 23 seconds. So Slapper's made up into 5th place now. I think that's due to Duran 50's incident and subsequent pit stop. One to watch between the two. So Disappointed now into pit lane, so we'll keep an eye on this, watch a pit stop, see where he comes out on track. I do believe he has done enough to hold on to 2nd position. So Enspud heading around turn 1 now. This might be a close encounter between the two. Disappointed is out in front, but does Enspud have the momentum? It doesn't look like it. So a perfectly executed pit stop there from Disappointed. Gets him out in front by just over a second over Enspud. 4 laps remaining in the race. So a very well timed pit stop there from Disappointed. Cycle through the order quickly, see, I think the closest battle at this stage will be Duran 50, who was running 5th, so he'll be looking to reclaim a spot inside the top 5. Might just sit on board with him for a lap or two and watch him close in on Slapper's mate. Bit of a moment there from Lurox. Looks like the band's has jumped out the way as well. Let's this battle try and resume. Rejoin back at the front, Diswood on his final lap. Not sure if he intended to do that, but he's certainly doing plenty of showboating here on the final lap. Didn't have the best of starts tonight, qualifying at the back of the field. Recovered in race 1 to take a podium, and then he learnt from his mistakes in race number 2, qualifying on pole and taking victory here in race number 2. Here at the Red Bull Ring, comfortable margin in the end and plenty of time to have some sideways action. As Disappointed rounds the final 2 corners, he'll come down onto the main straight and he'll collect second place, so a win and a second tonight. I do believe that Diswood will have the round win over him though. And Spud P666 crosses the line for third place. He'll round out the podium here tonight. Then it'll be Ratty McForehead crossing the line in 4th position. And then we're going to have to jump back to this battle here between Slappers Mate and Duran 50. Doesn't look like Duran 50 is going to be close enough to claim that top 5. He'll be left contemplating what he might have been able to do just slightly a bit better to secure that top 5. A couple of costly mistakes there during this race. So Slappers Mate filling in, taking a top 5 result. It's a great reward for his efforts. Duran 50 in 6th, Viper Z in 7th. Soul Reaper adding another top 10 to his tally after a 10th place on debut last week. Bands crosses line in 9th. Nightwalker rounding out the top 10 in the second WRT Motorsport card across the line. And then it's Robbo Sport and Lurox. And then John 27. A number of laps down in the end. So there you have it. Congratulations to Diswood 1. Taking victory tonight here in the second race of round 5 of the Trackstars Touring Car Series. As we ride on board with him on his cool down lap. And then quickly jump over to Disappointed, who finished second here tonight in the second race. And then of course, and Spud P666 rounding out the podium. So there we have it. 2:29 lap races completed here tonight in some very treacherous conditions here at the Red Bull Ring. Thanks for joining in tonight, and hopefully next weekend it stays a bit drier as we head to the high speed ring for the first of our 3 endurance events coming up in the next month. So we look forward to seeing you then next Sunday afternoon for round 6 of the championship at the high speed ring 500. But for now, it's good night, and we'll